The X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X-Zone Radio Show or endorsed in any manner by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, the X-Zone Broadcast Network, its affiliated networks, stations, employees, or advertisers.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell. Welcome back, one and all. This is the X Zone. I am Rob McConnell. We're coming to you live and around the world from our broadcast center and facilities in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, on the Mutual Broadcast Network and the all-new IPBN radio network. If you'd like to send an email, even if your little tin hat is a little too tight, studio at xzoneradiotv.com and on all social media networks, X-Zone Radio TV, and our radio website at www.xzoneradio.com. X-Zone Nation, my guest this hour is no stranger to our listeners around the world. Elizabeth Joyce is back with us tonight. Now, for those of you who are, for the first time, going to be introduced to Elizabeth, let me tell you a little bit about my friend. She was born as one of two sets of identical twins. Elizabeth Joyce has been psychic since birth. Named one of the world's greatest psychics, she is a spiritual healer and gives personal psychic readings worldwide. She teaches the work of Louise Hay, who was one of her mentors. Elizabeth writes monthly astrology column in several publications, including Wisdom Magazine. She is a professional astrologer, spiritual healer, counselor, medium, and clairvoyant who interprets dreams and utilizes her higher dimension frequencies as well as astrology and readings. Her TV appearances have included Unsolved Mysteries, Beyond Chance, The Psychic Detectives. Miss Joyce's books, Psychic Mysteries, Beyond Chance, and Psychic Detectives, are just two of the many books that this lady has written. Now, I could go on and on and on and tell you much more about Elizabeth, but let's bring the lady on herself. Joining us now, X-Zone Nation, is Elizabeth Joyce. And by the way, if you'd like to contact Elizabeth for a one-on-one private consultation after the interview, gang, area code 201-934-8986, and her website, www.new-visions.com. And Elizabeth, welcome home.
Nice to talk to you again, Rob. How have you been?
I have been very well, my friend. Busy as usual. Testing out the waters all over the world.
Well, everybody's getting a little bit shaken up, and some people have already been through it, and some are starting to go through it. We just had the full moon at 29 degrees Sag, which, Rob, we had that new energy when I wrote the book Ascension back in 2012.
Right.
And the new energy did a lot of destruction before reconstruction. So lots of things were turbulent and thrown around. And now we're on a new path where when we focus on our desires, they will come easier and quickly. And I'm so happy to get through it all.
It has been rough times, my friend. And I think that we are still seeing what this turbulence is causing in the Middle East, in China, in North Korea, in the United States. My God, look what happened 2 weeks ago in Orlando, Florida.
Yes, I know. In fact, we should really speak about that because it's so important to send prayers and light and to know that there has to be changes quickly.
We did a fast check of the times that you've been on the show, and 2 years ago, you, my dear, predicted a terrorist attack in a Florida city at a club.
I did. I know I predicted it. I know I did. But, you don't you wish that the predictions could stop it, Rob? That's always been my frustration, that you see it and you know it's coming, but you wonder why you can't have more and try to put a stop to it.
It would be nice if people would listen.
Right.
It really would.
I remember one time, may I share?
Sure,
it was
please.
Twin Towers. It was the first Twin Towers when they drove the truck with the bombs into the hotel in New York. And I was driving home the night it happened, and I saw a cross street in New York City in my mind.
My God.
And I called up a friend of mine who was very high up in the New York City police force and gave him that cross street. And I said, that's where they made the bomb. And do you know what? They went there, and that's where they made the bomb.
Elizabeth Joyce is my guest. Please stand by, Elizabeth. We have to take a 2-minute commercial break. When we return, more with the one and only Elizabeth Joyce. If you'd like to contact Elizabeth for a private one-on-one consultation, 201-934-8986, and her website, new-visions.com. I am Rob McConnell. This is The X Zone. We'll both be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away. The government's deadly assassin, gifted psychic, Kahara Mitchell, went AWOL and ended up buried under rubble in the wake of a great tsunami. She regained consciousness far from Earth on the medical ship of a Daguerreonian intergalactic fleet. Has she been rescued or abducted by aliens? The Chalice of Carrie, Kahira O'Donnell's latest paranormal science fiction romance, is the passionate story of an Earth woman and her destined mates, twin kings from another galaxy. Kahara uses her gifts fighting alongside Lords Rom and Ra in a war that will determine the destiny of galaxies. The Chalice of Carrie by Kahira O'Donnell is now available at KahiraO'Donnell.com or at Amazon.com.
Based on actual cases, results may vary, not a solicitation for legal services.
If you owe for back taxes, payroll taxes, or if you've not filed, the IRS will search you out. They are the most powerful collection agency in the world. One call to Wall & Associates, and your tax problems can be solved. Listen.
I was worried I would lose my house. Wall met with me in person.
I was scared. Wall & Associates got my levy released in 48 hours.
They settled my back tax debt for a fraction of what I owed.
At Wall, we solve tax problems. Call 800-619-4922. 800-619-4922. You always speak with a live person.
I never had to talk to the IRS again.
Wall stopped my wage garnishment.
Wall solved my back tax problems for a fraction of what I owed.
Call Wall & Associates now for a free face-to-face consultation. Call 800-619-4922. 800-619-4922. 800-619-4922.
www.new-visions.com is the website for Ms. Elizabeth Joyce. And if you'd like to call her for a one-on-one private consultation, 201-934-8986. Elizabeth, before we went to the break, we were talking about some of the predictions that you have given over the years. You've made several predictions here on the show over the years you've been on, and man, they are always dead on. Why don't people listen to people like yourself with a proven track record?
They get very angry. You know why? Because they don't want to change. They don't want to do the work. They do. I had a lady come the other day. Mm-hmm. Actually, there was a man, too, and maybe I should tell you about him. He wanted to get rid of his wife and marry a younger woman, and there was no reason for it. And I told him that wasn't going to happen. I told him he had a responsibility to his family, and we talked a little bit about how he was really thinking. And he said, I'm mad at you. You're not telling me what the other psychics are telling me. They're all telling me this is going to work. I said, well, God bless them in their truth.
That's because they don't operate like Elizabeth Joyce does.
No, I do believe in integrity very much. That's why I wrote the book, Seeding and Nurturing the Garden of Your Soul. It's really about building your character and building strength within yourself and within the divine. And spiritual growth works, Rob.
It truly does.
Every man has to decide which way his soul will go. And you talk about that with Orlando, or you talk about that with the election. Which way are the people going to go? Everybody is so angry right now, Rob, because they're not getting their own way. And Americans like McDonald's. It has to be now. Nobody wants to wait. Nobody wants to work things through anymore. It's very sad. But I do think that these people are not respecting the American people when they say that they're going to make a change.
Yeah.
We're going to throw this one out or that one out. It doesn't matter who it is. We're going to throw them out because we don't want them. Well, guess what? If he got the votes or they got the votes, they're not going to get thrown out.
That's true. Listen, are you still seeing Hillary as the winner of the presidential race?
Oh, I have been, but I will tell you my new sentence. Are you ready?
I'm ready, my dear.
The next United States president is not running at this time.
Wow.
That came in around February, and it knocked me over. I knew Trump would get on the ticket. I knew he would, and of course I knew Hillary would. But there's things happening, snap, bam, pop. It's starting in July. July will be a month of turbulence. July and October are going to be very rough months about this issue, Rob, as well as some other things overseas. Now, did they vote in England today about the Queen leaving the Euro organization?
You know what? I believe it was today. I believe it was today.
I think they're leaving.
Well, I'm going to get the newsroom to check that out.
I had said that they would really come very close to it, so we'll have to see. Just like I knew Scotland would not. But there's so much trouble going on in Europe, and the sad part about it is that I sense that there's a lot of thievery and backhandedness with money that are putting all of the people in a precarious position. Enough is enough.
What do you think will happen to Hillary? Will she face criminal charges?
I understand that they've held it back until after the election. So
Okay.
the criminal charges that they have now about the emails is minor.
All right, by the way, I just got a message from the newsroom. The vote is tomorrow.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll see what happens then. As for Hillary, these votes compared to the other things that she's been accused of are minimal. I don't see her having criminal charges at this time.
What about Benghazi? That would, how could that get swept under the carpet?
But you're blaming one person, and you're forgetting some things. People are forgetting that she wasn't 100% responsible. There were other people there, and when the phone, you don't know this, but when the phone came into the White House, what I heard was that they refused to take the phone calls because they didn't think that it was important enough.
Wow.
And these people came forward and said, we begged for help, and no one sent help. So who can explain it? Who knows the darkness that goes on behind closed doors?
All right,
I don't think it's one person's responsibility is what I'm saying.
But shouldn't the responsibility lie then with the President of the United States who refused to take that call?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now you said it.
Yeah.
Now you said
These are strange times, my dear.
It
Truly
is very strange times. And this is the year of the monkey, so anything can happen. But it's also a time of letting go. We just had a very powerful full moon, and we're going to have a lot of closure, a lot of endings. What I'm going to ask the people to do is to start sending prayers that nobody gets assassinated, because there has been several attempts on Donald Trump's life and on Bernie Sanders' life. Did you know that?
I knew about Donald Trump's the attempts on his life, but I did not know about Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, so there's a lot going on, and I wish that people would just go with what is voted. But
I may not agree with a lot of the things that Donald Trump has said, what Donald Trump has done, but I do believe in my heart of hearts what he has done, whether on purpose or by accident, was to show the people of the United States of America that anyone can become or, get into the presidential race.
But there's something else going on, Rob.
Okay.
It's being used as a tool to unveil the lies, deceits, and crookedness that's been going on, because most of the things that he says is true. He just doesn't know how to say them well.
Right.
For example, when he said that NATO was
Costing too
dead
much.
meat and was no good anymore and should be taken off, he didn't mean that. What he meant was that the NATO has not revised their bylaws since 1950s. And they need to revise their bylaws to do a better, stronger job. That's what he meant. Do you know what's going around the internet today?
No.
Hillary Clinton in 1996 telling us that we should go into Mexico and build a wall. On film.
Oh, my God. So the same rhetoric that she is condemning Trump for saying or planning to do is something that she herself had done in the past.
I'll see if I can find you the link and send it to you, because it is hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. And there she is saying, well, we should build border walls, and we should do this, and we should do that, and we can't trust Mexico, and all these things that Trump has been saying, she said in 1996 on film.
I think Mr. Trump is actually saying what the majority of the U.S. population is feeling, and
Yes, he is. That's why he got the votes. And the other thing is that he's not. I love it. He's not politically correct, Bob.
Good.
I know, because they say you can't say this and you can't say that. Well, you know what? We're supposed to have freedom of speech. We're supposed to be able to say anything we want.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that he's a little bit conceited and a little bit, it's my world or whatever, especially when he starts pitting wives against wives. I didn't like that action. But he's got the idea that this country has been raped, and it has been stolen from, lied to, raped. Why should we give everybody else everything when nobody pays us back anything? That has to change.
It certainly does. And I think, based on my knowledge of the U.S. political situation, and I am by no stretch of the imagination an expert when it comes to foreign affairs, but if Trump was running here in Canada, I would vote for him in a second, because he is telling the truth, in my opinion.
He is telling the truth, absolutely. I have a feeling that he's going to have some kind of an injury or an illness. And I've been saying that for a few months now. Before he got in, I was saying it. And I also feel that Bernie Sanders is going to be ill as well. I think he has heart problems, and they're keeping it quiet. That's what I think.
Yeah, Bernie Sanders wasn't looking too well the last time I saw him on TV. But you know who's really looking bad these days? Bill Clinton.
He does. He's really aged.
Oh, my goodness.
I noticed that. Didn't he have a heart transplant or a heart attack? He did have one.
I really don't know, but let me ask you.
He changed his diet completely, so he's got to be very careful.
Let me ask you something as a psychic.
Okay.
If, Bill Clinton had an affair with Monica Lewinsky, who nearly cost him the presidency. By the way, Exonation, Monica Lewinsky is now working for the Hillary Clinton election campaign. Does that mean if Hillary Clinton is elected that she has a free pass to have an affair with an intern as well?
I don't think Hillary would want to have an affair with an intern, but, there's another thing that's going on about Hillary. Some of her close friends are saying, I wish that the world could know what happened to each and every one of the women that she knew that Bill Clinton had an affair with. She actually destroyed their lives. So it's very interesting about when you have power, you try to be sweet and you try to be nice and you try to say the right thing. There's an abnormal desire for Hillary to want this presidency. That scares me, Rob. What's behind it?
Is it that she wants to prove to Bill that she's just as good as he is?
It's more than that.
Really?
I think it's more than that, but you can see it, can't you, when you see her talk?
I certainly can, and I think the fact that if she's gotten so far further than any other woman in the U.S. political history,
she has been nominated for as the first female president.
And if she gets to be president, that will be a feather in her cap for all the women in the United States.
It would be, if you can look at it that way. But what is the result going to be? That's a little bit disheartening. What is the result going to be?
Well, maybe you can tell us on the other side of this news break that we have to take, because
that's good to me. I'll give it a shot.
All right, my dear. Exo Nation, my friend Elizabeth Joyce is our special guest this hour. www.new-visions.com is her website. Now, if you'd like to contact Elizabeth for a one-on-one private consultation, her telephone number is 201-934-8986. And Elizabeth also does consultations via Skype. This is the X Zone, a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. And Elizabeth Joyce and I will be back on the other side of this news break as we continue here in the X Zone from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, live and around the world on the Mutual Broadcast Network and the all-new IPBN Radio Network. I'm Rob McConnell. Don't go away.
Mutual Broadcast News, I'm Leo Ashcraft. Indiana child welfare officials have warned an organization that installed 2 baby boxes in firehouses where mothers can drop off unwanted newborns anonymously to remove them, saying they question their safety and whether women who use them could face child abandonment charges. 6 hospitals in Arizona have installed drawers in their emergency rooms that allow women to drop off infants anonymously, although state law neither authorizes nor prohibits them. Nearly 2 months after a woman was found severely burned on the Crow Indian Reservation, the tribe is still seeking information about the case from federal investigators. The victim was found on April 17th in a field near the border between the Northern Cheyenne and Crow Reservation with burns over most of her body. Doctors told the woman's family she had walked about 3 miles before collapsing. Reservation residents believe the woman was set on fire. Mutual Broadcast News. Depend on it.
Modern Esoteric, Beyond Our Senses by Brad Olson, consummates the lifology story about where humanity originates. It is the lost continents, the primitive wisdom, the mythos of creation, and the rethinking of ancient history as we are taught in academia. There is much more to the story than what we have been told. As this is the first book in the Esoteric series, Modern Esoteric starts at the beginning of time and accelerates up to this modern age. Future Esoteric is book 2 in the series and takes a forward-looking position ahead of today with an open and honest examination of the ET issue and various unexplained phenomena. To discover the writings of author Brad Olson, visit www.bradolson.com. That's www.bradolson.com. Modern Esoteric, Beyond Our Senses by Brad Olson, consummates the lifology story about where humanity originates. It is the lost continents, the primitive wisdom, the mythos of creation, and the rethinking of ancient history as we are taught in academia. There is much more to the story than what we have been told. As this is the first book in the Esoteric series, Modern Esoteric starts at the beginning of time and accelerates up to this modern age. Future Esoteric is book 2 in the series and takes a forward-looking position ahead of today with an open and honest examination of the ET issue and various unexplained phenomena. To discover the writings of author Brad Olson, visit www.bradolson.com. That's www.bradolson.com.
Nita Hickok is an expert in exorcisms, psychic warfare, soul healing, angelology, soul retrieval, demonology, energy healing, long-distance healing, astral healing, and much more. Nita is an interfaith minister because she believes all gods and goddesses are valid and that they are part of one divine force that is incomprehensible to us who are incarnated upon this earth. Nita has been doing astral healing, distant healing, spirit release, exorcism, house cleansing and blessings, soul restoring and revival, psychic vampire removal and curse removal, and much more for over 40 years. For more information or to contact Nita Hickok, visit her website at www.astralhealer.com. That's www.astralhealer.com.
This advertisement is neither an offer to lend nor a commitment to funding. Penn Funding is a marketing and information firm for businesses.
We needed cash, fast. Business is good, but this is an emergency.
We needed some new equipment. The banks wouldn't help us.
Need cash for your business? Call Penn Funding. We help small business stay in business. If you're in business 6 months with $10,000 per month in sales, you probably qualify. Call Penn Funding now. Call 800-783-3440. 800-783-3440.
I called Penn Funding and had my money fast.
Penn Funding helped me stay in business.
Penn Funding helped us grow.
Penn Funding can save your business. We can help you grow your business. Make the call now. If you need cash for your business, call Penn Funding. We help small business stay in business. Need cash for your business? Call 800-783-3440. 800-783-3440. 800-783-3440.
Welcome back to the X-Zone, everyone. I am Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, right here on the Mutual Broadcast Network and the all-new IPBN radio network. Now, before I get back to my good friend Elizabeth Joyce, who is with us this hour, a couple of programming notes. Following the X-Zone, 10 p.m. until 1 a.m., my good friend Jeremy Scott is the man at the helm of Dark 30. That's Monday through Friday. And then Saturday and Sunday, Gwilda Wiyaka joins us here on the Mutual Broadcast Network and the IPBN Network for her show, The Science of Magic. Check them both out. You can check out all the shows that are broadcast here on the Mutual Broadcast Network simply by going to their website, www.mutualbroadcast.com. Elizabeth Joyce is our guest. If you'd like to contact Elizabeth for a one-on-one private consultation, it's very easy. Just give her a call at 201. Not now. Put the phone down. Put the phone down. Not now. After the show, guys. 201-934-8966. She also does Skype appointments, and her website is new-visions.com. All right. We talked about the presidential the presidential race. And by the way, congratulations. Your new book, I hear, is selling off the shelves like wildfire.
It really is. It's called The New Spiritual Chakras and How to Work with Them. And it's doing very, very well. It's gone all over the world because it's basic truth. And it's adding a dimension to the human body, and I'm thrilled about it. I really feel very blessed that I was able to write it.
Elizabeth, why do you think that there are so many people today, and I've seen the change in the world over the last 25 years doing this show, people are opening up. They're getting rid of their blinders, and they're opening their eyes, they're opening up their hearts, and they're saying, you know what? There's more to life than we realize.
Absolutely. And I think that that's human growth. I think it's spiritual growth. And I think it's the only way that we're going to survive in the future. We've got to be able to respect each other. We should have easy lives, do our work that we're here to do, and support others as we do that. Rob, I have a suggestion. Why don't I just read a few of my predictions, and then we can comment on them?
Okay, I've got a suggestion. Why don't you read a few of your predictions? And yeah, of course. Go ahead, dear.
Okay. Well, I think the important thing that we have to remember is that we are going to have further disturbances with the weather because of the structure of the Earth. We're going to have many more earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and that it's going to worsen. You know what's going on? Lightning is striking.
I know. I heard of
lightning.
I heard of a lightning strike in India that killed 90 people.
It's very weird. I know around New York City, which is where I am, this lightning and these fast whirlwinds, they're almost like tornadoes, but they're just whirling winds and hurricanes. Hurricane season this year will be worse than we've had before. The truth is that the North Pole is getting colder and the South Pole is melting. And that will eventually throw the Earth off its axis, which people have been talking about for years. So we are going to have strange weather.
By the way, Elizabeth, I made a mistake. It was 93 people killed in India and 20 injured by lightning.
Yeah, I believe that.
Never heard of that before.
Very strange. You know, I had predicted when I was with you last time, I think it was about 6 to 8 months ago, that there was going to be trouble at the Rio de Janeiro Olympics.
Yes, you did.
I predicted it, and there's going to be more than just the country being in trouble. I had said that China and Brazil would both have deep financial problems, but there's going to be a strange rainfall. That's why I'm mentioning it. Really unprecedented rainfall, almost like Houston, Texas, which I had also predicted. So extensive flooding, and that will be upsetting as well. I also feel that Japan is going to see more weather changes also, and that's not good.
You know what I love about you? You say, I feel.
Yes.
You know, and you get other psychics on the show. I know. You say, I feel.
Oh, no, I can't say I know because things change.
That's right.
You know, you can say I know at this time, or I sense at this time. As you know, my guys who do talk to me telepathically are very accurate.
That has been proven time and time again.
But I also know other things, Rob. I also know that things can change. And the accuracy can slip a little bit, and that happens. It doesn't make somebody wrong. It means that when I said it, somebody was thinking about it and planning it, and then it got thwarted. As you remember, we talked about the domination of ISIS going through Europe, and I had said France and Brussels. That really scared me. But I do think that there's going to be more trouble in Spain, in Austria, and I think that they're going to be doing some things over here, or people are going to try to do more over here to us through ISIS. You know, they just announced yesterday, the New York Times said that we have an ISIS group in every single state in this country.
There is a group, and I can't remember their name. I believe it's the Clarion Project. And these people came on the show about 2 years ago, and they were basically echoing the comments and the predictions that you had made. Now, this is a group of intelligence agencies and officers who work together in a think tank. It's ironic that here you are, sometimes in Pennsylvania, sometimes gosh only knows where you are. You don't have access to the intelligence information that these people do, and yet you nail it dead on.
I do. Who's David Cameron? He's somebody from Britain?
Yeah, David Cameron, the Prime Minister.
He's going to get forced to resign. And there's a Boris Johnson. I think he's going to come in.
Wow.
And this is going to be this week, I think, that Britain's going to leave the EU. I really do.
Well, the vote's tomorrow, and experts are saying that it is so close to call that they can't.
And then Scotland is going to have a second referendum and have a strike. That's going to be another close vote. Although I don't think Scotland will leave. They should realize that they should not leave because the Queen has her housing up there, and if they're going to be safe, Scotland's a place to move to. Let's go, Rob.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah,
and there's an art gallery. I keep getting this. Maybe you can help me. A famous art gallery is going to be destroyed by gunmen, and this is like Versailles or someplace overseas.
The Louvre in Paris?
It could be, because I know they're going back to Paris. So that's not coming in as clearly as I would like it to be. But that does happen sometimes.
What do you see as far as terrorism within the homeland, U.S.?
Well, I think it's going to get worse. I think they're going to do it in different ways. They can't do it the way they can by overseas. I see somebody getting into the blood bank and putting diseases in blood. You know, the transfusions? I see something like that going on. I also see an attack in an outdoor amusement park.
Disneyland.
I see gunmen, and I see horrible things in the summer outside in an amusement park. I don't know whether it's Disneyland or Six Flags just came up. So everybody's got to be careful. You're going to get to the point where you want to stay inside.
What do you think it'll take to squash this terrorist threat?
A lot of years. A lot of years. This terrorist group came together when we went into Iraq and took out Saddam Hussein.
Right.
That's when ISIS formed. And we left all the guns there. We sold the guns to Syria. And most of the guns that these people used are made in the USA. This is the crime. It's really a crime. And they got together and they have taken over. They're everywhere. They're in Indonesia. They're in Asia. They're all through the Middle East, and I know they're in this country. I know that they're in and around Asheville in the Blue Ridge Mountains. I know that they're in the western New Jersey. I know that they're also in parts of New England, and they're in parts of Idaho. That's where these people are training. And why don't somebody put a stop to it?
Good question. Why doesn't somebody put a stop to it?
Too much money going through hands. In the ocean, there's going to be huge sheets of ice as they break free down in the south, and this is going to disrupt shipping. And I see disruptions around Panama and around Argentina.
Well, here's something for you that I just was handed. We were talking about the Iraq War, right? Guess who endorsed Donald Trump? Donald Rumsfeld.
Oh, sure he did.
Yeah.
Sure he did. He said Donald Rumsfeld and Kissinger said that Trump was going to be president. And they said it way back in the late 80s and early 90s.
Wow.
So that you wonder, the president is only a figurehead.
Yes.
There's lots of companies around them that put them into place. I think it's great that Donald hasn't gone into these packages, super packages. And I don't think it's right that if you donate money that you get to boss people around. I don't think that should be right. Do you?
No, I don't. But you know what? The more I've thought of this, the more it makes sense. Like, the United States of America and every other country is a business. You've got a president.
Sure.
Then you've got the board of directors, which are the different offices like the Secretary of State and the Secretary of Defense and so on. And then you've got the shareholders, and that's the public. So it only makes...
It's not being treated very fairly.
You're right. But this is what I think Donald Trump will add to the formula. He will run the country like a business.
That's right, and that's what we need more. But you don't think that the people are really going to negotiate with them, not ISIS. They don't negotiate.
And I don't think he will
negotiate. The most horrendous crimes, and they don't even think twice about it. But the thing that gets me is I did a little research on June 1st. I was going through the internet and trying to figure out who was predicting what.
Okay.
2/3 of psychics predict Hillary's going to win. 1/3 predict Donald Trump.
Right.
This is what I think may happen. I said all along that Trump would get the ticket. And I think he's going to have Rudy Giuliani as his vice president. That's what I think.
Interesting.
So he gets the ticket, and then he gets to the convention. So what he's winning is the convention. After that, I see an attempt on his life, and I see illness.
Well, he is under a lot of stress and a lot of pressure. There's no two ways about that.
He is.
And what do you think about the latest change with his campaign manager, Lewandowski, and his daughter, Ivana, starting to take the reins?
Well, that's family.
Yeah.
Blood's thicker than water, and that guy did. Unfortunately, people make all of these big issues over these things like pushing and shoving. That was very sad to me. They don't understand that woman had no right to be there.
Right.
She had no right to be walking alongside of him, and that is the Secret Service job. She wouldn't listen. They asked her to move, and she wouldn't.
Do you think that
That's his fault? No, that's her fault.
Does your psychic spidey tinglers, does it go off when you look at the way that the majority of the female media treat Trump?
Well, I did have trouble with Megyn because I can't stand her. Her whole basis is lies, cheats, and that type of thing. And I'm not sorry I'm saying that either. I have free speech. But I think that people are using him to promote themselves in a negative way. All of a sudden, Megyn is a big, hot newscaster. Well, she's no newscaster. Anything she gets, she works for, if you know what I mean. She's no newscaster. And it's very sad to see this happen, but of course that's been the way of the world for a long time. But I think that you have to be careful in shopping malls, taking cruises, going to sports events, and as I had said before, clubs and big restaurants.
Yeah, because they would be targets of favor, soft targets.
Yeah, especially if somebody important is going to be appearing there. So we've got to be very careful. This is terrorism. I hate to say that we don't have the freedom that we used to have, but it's been 2 years. I haven't been to a shopping mall. I won't go.
Really? Wow.
Luckily, I get everything online.
I talk to many people who say that they're tired of Big Brother watching them. They're tired of losing their freedoms, this, that, and the other thing. And what do they want? In order to protect the people, this is a whole new world that we're in. They're using, terrorism is using the internet to recruit. How do we? We have to take drastic measures in order to catch the people before there's more loss of life.
Absolutely. And Rob, the whole answer to that is they watch too much television. They have not researched it. They're just talking to talk.
Yeah.
And I say that all the time. And they watch too much television.
My favorite saying to these people is, if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear.
That's true.
It's that simple. It just like some people, when they see a police car behind them, they start to get nervous. Why? If you're not breaking the law, you've got nothing to fear. If you don't have any...
When I pulled the police car over and yelled at the guy for crowding me, I yelled at him, and I was right. I told him off like you wouldn't believe. I was in the left lane, and he was blinking. He was following me very, very close, and finally he was blinking his lights. And in New York, when that happens to you, you think somebody's trying to pull you over to pick you up. And I'm driving along the car, and the car is, tailgating me and blinking lights. Well, I went about 5 miles before he put the red light on.
Oh, my God.
Me over. And I was out of the car before he was, and I said, "How dare you do that to me?" I couldn't move. I was in the left lane. I couldn't get over to the side. Number one. Number two, you never identified yourself, and you scared me, and I thought you were trying to run me off the road. And he got back in the car and drove away.
He knows the wrath of the woman.
Well, that's how people act. There's crazy stuff going on this summer, and I do hope that people are very careful on the road.
Well, let's talk about it when we come back from this final break. Exo Nation, the one and only Elizabeth Joyce is our guest, www.new-visions.com. And Elizabeth and I return to wrap up this hour and tonight here in the Exo from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, on the Mutual Broadcast Network and the all-new IPBN Radio Network. Skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, on the X-Zone TV show, coming soon to screens of all sizes. On the X-Zone TV show, we'll investigate UFOs, ghosts, alien abductions, demonic possession, psychic phenomenon, angels, lake monsters, Bigfoot, unsolved mysteries, and all subject matter from within the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology, and much, much more. The X-Zone TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, www.xzonetv.com, is a Relmar McConnell media company and Airplay Media production.
I'm William S. Peckham. If you enjoy a good mystery with a touch of the paranormal, then you'll love my novel, From Out of the Woodwork. It's the story of a young Toronto contractor, Sean Kennedy, who buys derelict homes, guts them, and turns them into multifamily dwellings. Slums just waiting to happen. When Sean buys 29 Livery Lane, the house fights back. Former owners unexpectedly come out of the woodwork as he starts the destruction. The apparitions come to him when he touches old books, reads hidden letters, rummages through old boxes, finds a locket, or reads a discovered manuscript of a murder mystery. From Out of the Woodwork will take you from 1899 to the horror of the World Trade Center, September 11, 2001. Check out From Out of the Woodwork on my website, www.williamspeckham.com.
If your credit card bills have gotten out of hand, call Consolidated Credit now. If you're making the minimum payments, but your balance is just not going down, call Consolidated Credit now. If the interest rates on your credit cards are so high, it will take years and years to get out of debt. Call Consolidated Credit now.
800-750-8583.
They've helped over 5 million people with credit card debt. They can consolidate your debts into one lower payment, reduce your interest rates, and get you out of debt fast. If you're struggling with credit card debt, Consolidated Credit Programs will teach you how to get out and stay out of debt.
Call 800-750-8583. 800-750-8583. That's 800-750-8583.
Consolidated Credit Counseling Services Incorporated, 5701 West Sunrise Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 33313. Not a loan company. Licensed by the New York Department of Financial Services and by the Vermont Department of Financial Regulation. Maryland DM 19, Oregon DM 80031. Services are primarily educational in nature.
Welcome back, everyone. I'd like to take this opportunity of thanking all our guests tonight. We've had one of the great shows that we have each and every night tonight. We spoke to Douglas DeLong, David Campione, Elizabeth Joyce this hour, and it's just great where we can come together each and every night from 6 p.m. Eastern until 10 p.m. Eastern and share with you, the X-Zone Nation around the world, what these people have worked so hard to bring forth, and to let them share the information and the knowledge that I believe will help make this a much better and safer world. Elizabeth Joyce is our guest. Once again, if you'd like to contact Elizabeth for a one-on-one consultation, 201-934-8986. That's 201-934-8986. And her website is new-visions.com. Elizabeth, as always, great having you on the show. What should we look for in the weeks and months to come?
Well, I think we are going to have a turbulent summer with the elections. I think that some things overseas are going to be upsetting. Turkey is going to fail, and the immigrant problem overseas is going to become worse. I think that what we ought to do is just appreciate our home and our family and our little space and do the best we can. We are going to conquer these challenges, and we are in a new era starting in 2017 through 2024, and it's not going to be easy. So we all have to gather together in the months ahead. And we absolutely have to get with our skeptical friends as well as our loving friends and do everything that we can to create love, peace, and harmony.
Elizabeth, do you see any alien contact in the next couple of years?
There's always been alien contact, Rob. I don't know how to explain it to you. Okay. Do I see proof that there has been? Yes. As a matter of fact, Hillary said that she was going to open up an Area 51, is it?
Yes.
After she was president. She said that.
But she also said she didn't have any classified information on her servers.
Go back to the little movie I'm going to send you.
All right.
But there's a lot of people that make a lot out of things that they see, and there's a lot of people that do know quietly that we do have aliens around us. Most of them are in another dimension, so we don't see them the way that we think we would. They're not human bodies like us.
Well, the next time you're on the show, and that'll be in a couple of weeks, Elizabeth, I'd like to talk to you about the different dimensions that you talk about in your books. And by the way, let our listeners know where they can get your book.
My books are all on Amazon.com.
It's that plain. It's that simple. Elizabeth, as always, time goes by so fast when you're with us. Are you going to be making any public appearances in the near future? Are you going to be at any events?
2 weeks, I'm going to be with the Holy Mother. Remember, Rob?
Oh, my gosh.
July, I'm with Amritananda Mai, the hugging saint from India. I've been with her 28 years, and I'm on staff. Mm-hmm. And we will be helping thousands of people get up to her, and lots of people will come with physical ailments, and we have room for everybody. Her website is alma.org. So come and get yourself a hug. Not only that, when you're with her, magic happens. You really do get cleared, and you really do open up your heart even more, and contentious family problems can get healed. That's what we need to do.
Elizabeth, take care of yourself, my dear friend. I look forward to having you back on the show in a couple of weeks when we talk about multi-dimensions and much more. Until then, be safe, and blessings to you and yours.
You too. Thank you, Rob.
Bye-bye, dear. Exo Nation, Elizabeth Joyce, once again, www.new-visions.com. Well, that's it for tonight. I'll be back tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. As once again, we cross the time-space continuum to this place that I call the X-Zone. So from everyone here to everyone out there, always remember to keep your eyes to the sky and your heart to the light. Good night, everyone.